I've just parked the car and I'm going to go shopping for some shoes. I'm hoping to find something that will work for my feet, which have been giving me trouble. So wish me luck. Well, now that you know what I eat for breakfast, which is information I'm sure you were longing to know about, I thought I would show you that just for fun as part of my life. And the reason I've gone to that sort of breakfast is because I read The Glucose Goddess, and one of her main recommendations is to have a savory breakfast. So I thought, okay, well, that sounds like a healthy choice. Anyway, that's not the topic of the day. Today, guess what? I'm starting a new glue book, and I'm starting it with a calendar because I had so much fun with the last one. This calendar is Parisian Life from 2022. And I'm going to be doing this one a little bit differently. So I think you might get some fun ideas about what you can do with a calendar or whatever, but also how travel and other places kind of figure into my life, maybe your life, and just a broader view of the world, and we'll just see what comes up. So let's get started. So this is my beautiful calendar. I love this picture. I love this color and the pink and the gold and the tree in blossom, and oh my goodness, I think I need to book a trip to Paris in springtime. However, today I'm going to be doing something different. What I wanted to do was, this calendar has such beautiful pictures on the top that I want to keep some of them because they're so evocative of Paris. There's that one again, in the Jardin des Plantes. And so I thought what I would do is just do the bottom half and cover up, you know, all this stuff. Look at that, Tuileries. There's the iconic Eiffel Tower. I was there not that long ago. It's so pretty. Anyway, that's my plan for the moment. And I also have this, I keep things that inspire me. So I actually dug through my art drawers and found a whole bunch of calendars that I've kept that have, for example, France is part of my heart because I used to live there, but 365 days in France, and every day has a picture of France. So those are things that inspire me. I've got another one like this of Italy, which I also love. But I kept this one too, which I picked up at a store. The brand name of the clothing is Jackpot, and it's just so pretty, like this pattern, for example. Just the photos, you know, like these are so my style anyway, but I thought what I would do with this is just cut it along here, and then I can just easily access the photos without cutting them out individually. All right, I'm just going to cut along this line. It's kind of a fold line. So to get started on this, I'm just going to pick out some of these. I love this. I love that kind of dress. I love that look. So this book will probably be kind of similar to the previous one in that it's things I love. Now, I'm not much for the rustic look. I'll be honest, I prefer palatial to rustic. However, so let's see, that's a cover, so it's quite stiff. This one doesn't really say too much except that there's a bowl of crustaceans there. I'm not really sure if that's any use to me. I like this look too. I would probably choose different shoes, but depends how my feet feel, because lately I've had problems with my feet. This one is also lovely. And that one. I love those pants. This is kind of my look as well. Okay, we'll consider those. I don't want to make all the pages about fashion, although that would be fun. Look at her beautiful face. Okay, we've got 4 maybes here. And as you know, in a glue book, I just put anything I want. It doesn't have to be just pages to glue in. I also use stickers and whatever. Okay, I've just grabbed some of these things. Now, I'm thinking that my theme isn't going to be all France. And I just want to see what the color is here. So this is pale pink and white and sort of turquoise. See? So if I want to just do some colors that go along with that, this one certainly does, right? I'm thinking coordinating colors so that, you know, if I want to, I could hang this on my wall in my office, and because it's painted pink like that. It's also my art studio where I paint, but it would actually be like a decor piece. Obviously need a bigger table here. See, I really like this look, but there's so much gold there, it doesn't kind of work. And there's a mixture here. The smaller pages are from Coastal Living and the bigger ones are from Marie-Claire Idée. But see, this is Coastal Living, but it still fits the color brief. So to just elaborate briefly on the situation with my feet. A couple of years ago, I got a Morton's neuroma in my right foot. And that is, the nerve gets pinched between usually your 3rd and 4th toe. And then it wants to protect itself from the bones pinching. It's the one that goes down in the ball of your foot. So it builds up a little, it gets inflamed, I guess, and builds up a little calcification around it. And then it feels like you have a pea in your shoe or a little pebble or something. And it hurts to bend or walk, and if it gets worse, it hurts your whole foot, but especially the ball of your foot. It kind of went away over the summer because I have wide feet. I don't have like thick feet or fat feet. They're just wide, and so therefore most shoes are too narrow for me, and it's that pinching. You know, if you read up on it online, it will say it's from wearing high heels. It's like, that's nonsense, because I never even wear high heels anymore. My lifestyle doesn't require it. It's wearing shoes that are too narrow. And because my feet are wide, almost all shoes are too narrow. It's really hard to find nice looking shoes that don't hurt. So consequently, this has happened in my right foot, and then it kind of went away. Great, okay, this isn't a big problem. I did see the doctor and told me what it was, and then I talked to my naturopath, and she said 80% of women will get a Morton's neuroma. Now, excuse me, but what does that tell you? Somebody is paying no attention to the width of shoes that women actually need. So if you look at the sole of a shoe, and I'll show you mine, and the sole is this wide, and your foot is this wide, great, no problem. But a lot of soles are only this wide. And if your foot is this wide, you've got problems. And because your foot is flexible, it'll fit in there, but it'll damage your foot. And then in the last year or so, my left one got bad. And it's right now quite a bit worse than my right one. When I was visiting my sister, she said, why don't you just get Birkenstocks? And I said, I'm just going to start doing sort of a page layout. Now, this is a big dark space, so it actually doesn't need to be part of the picture, which means I can just cover it up with something. So I'm on the quest for shoes that don't hurt my feet. I think that one would work. Okay, let's cut that one out. Because it's French and it's obviously letters from Paris. Well, okay, I know the saga of my feet is not fascinating to everyone. It's not even fascinating to me, to be honest. However, it is what it is. There are other more serious things that you can do, and I talked to the chiropractor and they said, oh yeah, we can do this. We've got this machine that that breaks up the calcium, and then you got to get these special custom orthotics and blah blah blah. And I said, well, how much does that cost? And it was like so expensive, it was ridiculous. Decided for this one, I think I want to use bigger pictures, mainly because I have the bigger pictures and I really like them. But then you end up with little spaces like this where you have to put something in it. I do like this. Doesn't really need to be that big. This darkness actually works with this, but I think I'll trim it a little bit. Anyway, the cost of what the chiropractor suggested was, in a word, prohibitive. And it was per foot. So, as my friend said yesterday, you can buy a lot of Birkenstocks for that. Now, there's no place around here where I live, out in the semi-boonies, where you can actually buy Birkenstocks. I'm going to go to Vancouver one of these days and solve that problem. We're supposed to be going in the next couple of days because we have these grandchildren, and one of them is a baby. And you know, when you haven't seen a baby for a month, so many things can change. I love the polka dot wall here, so I think I'll just kind of do these. And I don't want that one. This one is the winner. I thought I would also take a few minutes as I'm doing this to tell you a little bit about the trip I took recently. So my sister lives in Quebec, and I've been a few times to visit her, and she's been, I think, once back here. So I contacted her a few weeks back, and I said, if I come down for a visit, do you want to take a little trip to New England? And she said, sure. So off we went. I arrived in Montreal in the evening. I don't know what I'll use that for, but I'll keep it. My brother-in-law picked me up, which he likes to do because it gives us a chance to visit. And then Saturday morning, we went to my niece's bakery for breakfast, which was lovely. Actually, I kind of like this. On Sunday, we went to church. My sister plays the piano for church, and the church is right next door to their house, so that's easy. And then in the evening, she had their book group at her house. It was interesting because she and I were in the founding group of a book group here that went on for 22 years. And a lot of it was the same people for a long time. And then a few people sort of came and went. Like some came, some decided they were done, and whatever. And then it happened that a whole bunch of people moved away at the same time, including my sister. And even though there were several times when I thought, I'm done with this, I don't want to do this anymore, I want to read what I want to read, that sort of thing. When it came right down to it, I was the remaining founding member in this 22-year group. So that is very pretty. I'm just wondering how much I like this line. And the answer is I don't like it that much. But I do like the clothes. Those pants are kind of fun. I'm not sure they're really me. All right, I'm going to start gluing some things down here. This has got more paper on it than I need, so let's see. And then Monday morning we set off. Where she lives is like 2 kilometers from the border to the US, so it's easy to go across. It was fun with the border crossing because this one little outpost on a little road, and there was one woman as the border guard, and she's like, okay, where are you going? What are you doing? And we told her, and she's like, okay, fine. I have a Nexus card, which is called Trusted Traveler, and allows me to skip the lineups, and you get through the borders faster and whatever because you've already been vetted. And I love it because for example, when I came back from Montreal, and I was telling my sister and brother-in-law, you guys travel more than I do. You should really get a Nexus card. And they were like, oh, no, we don't mind the lines. It's not that big a deal. So when I got to the airport, and it was time to sort of get in the security line, I went to the guy who was kind of at the start of the lineup, and I showed him my card, and he said, oh, you go over there. You go down that way. And I sent this text to my sister later. I said, number of people in the ordinary security line, too many to count. Number of people in the Nexus line, 0. Because when I got there, there was nobody. There were 2 agents just kind of hanging around chatting, and it was just me. So it's like, yeah, I get the whole security to myself. You still have to unload your whatevers and show that you're complying with all the security rules, which is important nowadays. And then while I was in there, 4 businessmen, obviously from the same company traveling together, came along, and they were just chatting and whatever. But that was it. So I texted that to my sister, and she said, maybe I should think about this a little seriously. I'm like, yeah, you never believe me when I tell you things. Anyway, off we went across the border, meandered. Well, we stopped in Burlington, Vermont, to had a little walk around downtown, and there was a shop there. I was there about 3 or 4 years ago with my husband. I found this shop that kind of had everything. It's like 3 floors of everything, and I wanted to have a look at it again. So we stopped. Okay, I've got this down. So we meandered down the state and stopped for lunch, and in little towns. There's so many little towns, and we had booked a hotel in this little town called Chester, which is a very scenic, old-fashioned town. The leaves, this is fall, right? So I don't know, because of the kind of weather or whatever, there was still lots of color in the leaves, depending where you went, because it changed. Like in the higher elevations in New Hampshire, they were all done, but in the lower elevations where the weather was warmer, and there was still lots of color in the leaves. So it's beautiful. And actually, it's been beautiful here where I live too, on the West Coast. We still have trees that are just now turning, and it's November. So it's been a long, slow fall, and I guess the trees know what they're doing. So there you go. Okay, this looks a little bit piecemeal, a little patchy. I think I might want to put some little embellishments like washi tape. So let's see what might work. I just want to soften the edges a little bit. So there's that one. And there's that one. That one's pretty. That one works. This is kind of a neat idea along here. Got this to cover up. Let me see. I bet I could cover it up. I bet I could cover it up with a marker. Let's see, maybe this. Oh, that's quite dark. Just so I can put a washi tape over it and it won't show through. Well, that kind of worked. I like that, but I want it to start at the beginning of one of these little things. So that means I need to find my scissors. So anyway, we stayed in this little town called Chester. And the next morning, we had breakfast there. It was funny because it was such an old building. My sister said, this is like staying at Grandma's house, which it kind of was. Anyway, we had a look around town. There was a big church across the road with a graveyard. We looked at the graves. It was a chilly morning, and the stores weren't open yet because we were getting up and leaving kind of early. I don't know if I want this one here or not. I think it really does work, so let's do it. Anyway, we had a look around the graveyard, and they went back to the 1700s, these graves, so it's obviously was settled a long time ago. Let me see if I can get this right on the right spot. Aha, she did it. Well done. Now, this corner here, I think I'll put a sticker in there because I want it to be a little less sharp. I might put some of these across here, so let's have a look at that. It was interesting to look at the graves and how many of the graves of women, the woman was described as wife of. And one was even Mrs. So-and-so, wife of, so it'd be Mrs. Ethel Smith, wife of Walter Smith, or something like that. It's like, whoa, they didn't even rate their own names, only their relation to a man. Such were the times, and hope any vestige of that disappears forever. Okay, I want a sticker in here. What's it going to be? I think one of these, because the colors work and they're not see-through. Well, here lies the trouble with washi tape. It's not always all that sticky, so sometimes I even glue them down. Okay, let's see. So then we hit the road and we drove across New Hampshire all the way to the Maine coast. And of course we stopped and had a nice lunch. We always, when we travel together, we have our main meal at lunchtime, and then we usually just get snacks or something small for supper. I don't want to hide this girl's face, so let me try it this way. I like it that way. Okay, that's a possibility. That covers the most, so I'm going to use it. We had, oh, these are washi, I forgot. They're not that, they're a little bit see-through as well. Oh well, it's a little less obtrusive that way. Okay, I'm going to put one more thing down in here. I think I ended up with 2 packs of the same thing. That's a no. I'm going to use this one just because I can't think of anything else. So the accommodation we had at the Maine coast was something inn and cabins. And the cabin we had was so cute. It had been decorated so prettily. It was very feminine, actually. Which was interesting because the proprietor, who was a woman, was not very feminine in her dress and manner, but she had a lovely aesthetic. Just goes to show you. Let's just move these aside. Okay, I think this works perfectly with this. So let's turn it this way so we can see that. And makes a nice wall hanging, basically. I could add things to this, but then why would I? That's my page, and that's my story. I may continue the whole main thing after, but like in another video. But if I forget, just, you know, forgive me. Please subscribe to my channel, have a look at some of these other videos, and I'll see you next time.